What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of EAA. Today I'm sitting in the newest addition to my fleet, my 1932 Ford Roadster. If you guys watched the last video, you got a little sneak peek of the car. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see the whole car. I did post a picture there, but a video on this vehicle will be coming very soon. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I understand that. Just wait, give me another week or so and I will have a video on this car. But if you're not following me on Instagram, you really should. And as always, my Instagram and P.O. Box and Venmo, if you guys choose to support the channel, will be in the description below. I will also ask right from the very beginning to like, share, and subscribe, because normally I would say that for the end of the video, but I thought, why not get that out of the way right now? So let's get on to the subject of this video. And I really thought that this vehicle would be the perfect vehicle to be sitting in and kind of center around to talk about this subject. And it's really the way automotive has changed. And I know I've seen a lot of changes, and I'm going to go back 50 years. 50 years is a good round number, and it just so happens I just turned 50 years old, so that seemed like a good round number to go with. Back in the 60s, even really the early 70s, horsepower was king. When it came to muscle cars and things like that, we were really shooting for as much horsepower as we could get, as much performance as we could get. And then by the early to mid 70s, into the 80s, really emissions had choked the vehicles down so much. Fuel efficiency was very, very important, and horsepower was kind of a thing of the past. Performance was a thing of the past. There were a few notable vehicles in the 80s, a few in the 90s, but it was really more in the later 90s when we started getting back into more power, more performance oriented. Fuel injection was definitely happening at that point in time, and the technology was coming around, so we were able to tune vehicles very well and get a lot of performance and power out of them, and still do very well with emissions. Nowadays, in the millennium, we've got vehicles that are offered with 600, even 800 horsepower from the factory, which is just phenomenal to me. It still blows me away. And I've said it before, I'll continue to say it. It is a good time to be an automotive enthusiast. But there have been some changes. Changes that could be considered positive, depending on how you look at it. If you're an old school hot rodder like me, maybe not so much, but things that I do accept. And the first thing I want to talk about is, in new vehicles, the lack of manual transmissions. Manual transmissions are becoming dinosaurs. They're a thing of the past. Kind of unfortunate, but it's just the way that it is. With the new automatics and the way they shift, the dual clutch systems and things like that, they're much more efficient. Back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, if you wanted a fast car, you got a manual transmission. Manual transmissions put more power to the ground. If you were halfway decent at shifting, you could launch the vehicle faster than an automatic. You were faster through the gears, and that was what you wanted for performance. They also got better fuel economy. They were more efficient in that respect in every way. So manual transmission was the way to go. And nowadays, that's just not offered in really most vehicles. They're dying out. A good example, the last generation GT500, that ran from 2007 to I believe 2013 or 14, correct me if I'm wrong on that, was offered only in a manual transmission. And now the 2020 GT500 will only be offered in automatic, dual clutch setup, and I get why they're doing it. Much more fast, much more efficient, and people like it. Let's face it, that's what people want. Another good example is the new mid-engine C8 Corvette that has taken the world by storm, only offered in a dual clutch 8-speed automatic transmission. Kind of unfortunate. I don't see Corvette offering a manual transmission in the C8, and the biggest reason is GM said that 80% of the people who are buying newer Corvettes, the C7s, in the later years of the C7s rather, were opting for the automatic transmission. Only 20% wanted a manual transmission. So naturally, GM's going to listen to the customer because they want to sell cars. It's also much more cost effective for them to only offer one transmission setup as opposed to two. It just makes good sense. And I do get that, but it is kind of sad. I have a number of vehicles in my fleet that are manual transmission, and I can remember there was a time when, maybe 10 years ago, when I bought my first C5 Corvette, and I remember somebody asked me if I wanted to get a manual transmission, and I thought, no, that's stupid. I mean, the car's got plenty of power as it is. I don't need that, because to me, a manual transmission was more efficient, more effective. So I went with an automatic. I was pretty much exclusively automatics, but nowadays I do like the manual transmission. There's just something about the feel of it, deciding where I want to shift and when I want to shift, having the skill to work the gas, the clutch, and listening to the motor, and you're just more involved with the car, in my opinion. So there are just some vehicles I think that should be manual transmissions. In my opinion, the GT500 should be a manual transmission. In my opinion, Corvette should offer a manual transmission in the C8. And the C8 is a vehicle that I would like to have someday. It's a vehicle that I admire a great deal, and I think probably within the next couple of years I'll end up picking one up, and I will accept the fact that that's going to be my one and only automatic Corvette. It is what it is. Like I said, it's just the sign of the times and the way things are changing. Old school people like me just need to catch up. That's all there is to it. Now let's move on to some other changes that are obvious, that are happening, and if you don't realize they're happening, your head's been in the sand. Electric vehicles. They are the way of the future. There is no doubt about it. And technology's come a long way with electric vehicles. Ranges are getting farther and farther. The efficiency, the power that these cars can put down. I mean, Tesla's a really good example. Tesla's a company I hadn't paid a lot of attention to until recently. I've started watching them a little bit closer. I started noticing Teslas on the road, and Tesla's really at the forefront of it. They're doing some amazing things, and a good example is the new Roadster that's supposed to be coming out, I believe, in 2020, that's capable of 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. Under 2 seconds. I believe that I heard, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the car should be capable of right at an 8-second quarter. And this is a vehicle that's going to be priced at right around $150,000, which granted is out of reach for most people, but for someone that can afford it and wants something like that, you're going to have an amazing car capable of doing all these amazing things, amazing performance, really the fastest car out there. And it's a vehicle that you can still drive to the grocery store. It's a vehicle that you can take a trip in and enjoy and be very comfortable in. I mean, go talk to somebody who has built an 8-second car and ask them how much they spent to get there. And I think you'll be amazed at really what the value that you're going to be getting in this Tesla. It's just incredible. I know that someday I will have an electric car in my stable. Now, I don't see getting rid of all my internal combustion motors and trading them in for 1 or 2 electric cars. Just don't see that happening. But as far as a daily driver, yeah, I can see that down the road, definitely. But it's sad in a way, because we are losing the internal combustion engine. It's becoming a dinosaur. It's becoming a thing of the past. I know for me, I enjoy the roar of the motor. I enjoy listening to it. A vehicle like this, open cockpit, I can really hear the motor. My Shelby Cobra is the same way. I love the sound. I love listening to it. So many of the vehicles that are in my shop, I don't even listen to the stereo when I'm driving them, because I like to hear the roar of the motor. And with an electric car, you're not going to get that. So yeah, the technology is great. It's better for the environment, better overall, more economical, more efficient, but in a way kind of sad. We also have a step up in the safety of vehicles, which is definitely a good thing. I mean, over the last 30 years, we've got airbags, we've got analog brakes, we've got stability control, we've got crumple zones. They've come so far in protecting the occupants of the car, even going so far as to make vehicles that have crash avoidance and lane detection and things like that to help you avoid even getting into an accident, which I think is great. I do think that that is a great piece of technology. We even have vehicles very soon that are going to be able to drive us. We won't even have to worry about driving. We just get in, put in where we want to go, and the car will take us there. Very, very cool, but kind of sad too, because I enjoy having my hands on the wheel of the vehicle. I enjoy driving, braking, hitting the gas, deciding how to make the turn or how to accelerate away or how to brake or what have you. I do enjoy that. I know the computer is going to be much more efficient at it than I am. It's going to do much better at it than I am. It's going to do it right. But I still enjoy driving my own vehicles. So tell me, what are some of the changes that you've seen in your lifetime in automotive? What are some of the good things, some of the bad things, some of the things you like, some of the things you don't like? Give me your opinion and your thoughts on this video. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, I'll end the video and just say God bless, take care, have an absolutely amazing day.